Welcome back to Cook In with Matt. We're going to do our holiday favorite. You know, my kids have kind of grown up. They've gone beyond toys and things underneath the tree. And instead what they really like to enjoy is a really nice dinner. Now that can get kind of pricey if you want to do something fancy outside the home and you want to go out to a restaurant, and especially if you're trying to do steaks. And I used to do steaks on the grill. I do filet mignon and go out on the grill and I'd spend all my time out there. And then what would happen is I'd bring the food in, we'd all eat, and it'd be time to go, and I haven't spent any time with my family at all. So we figured out a solution that is much more economical and easy, and that is roasted tenderloin. This is a filet mignon right there, the whole thing. Most tender cut of beef. Now, just so you know, I buy mine peeled already from the butcher. If you don't, it's going to have a piece of silver skin, which is almost like a tendon or something, but it's a piece of skin that goes across. It's very, very chewy and hard to work with. You have to trim it off before you enjoy the fillet. Another thing to know about a tenderloin is it's not exactly even, so you need to use some butcher's tie here to even up the meat, so it's almost the same size. And that said, even that done, you're going to still have some pieces that are a little bit bigger and thicker that tend to be a little bit more rare, and the ones that are thinner or smaller will be more well done. And that's okay, because some people in our house prefer it more well done, and I prefer mine more rare. I'm not going to do this scientifically. There's probably a fancy thing. I know they call this butcher tie, is a certain kind of knot, but you know, I learned how to tie my shoes, and I only learned how to tie that one way. So other than that, I have 2 knots in my repertoire. But I'm just going to tighten this up a little bit, get it all off the bottom of the pan. And I'm just going to tie it like I tie my shoes. Now at the end, once I'm done, this is butcher's twine. You can go to your butcher asking for some extra. Usually they'll just give you some if you can't find it. Some stores have it in a separate area by your cooking and baking. Now remember, you saw that skinny piece. I'm going to tie that one there and make sure it stays nice and tight underneath. Just tie it like you tie your shoe. When I get done, I'm going to cook. When I get done cooking with this, I'm going to just cut that off before I slice into the meat. I've got my oven preheating now. It's going to 400 degrees. Tenderloin is usually about 10, maybe 15 minutes per pound. So this, with being 4 pounds, should take around 40, 50 minutes. A little more if you want it more well done. So I'm just about ready to season this thing. I have patted it dry too. When you get it out of the package, you want to make sure you rinse it off and then pat it gently dry. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of my pan. Just a touch. Cover the distance, just to keep from sticking. This is going to add to that broth that I use to baste it as I get through the end of it. That'll go on the end. Now I can season them right in there. I'm going to use some liquid first, some Worcestershire. You know I like it. Again, this is going to cook around to make kind of a sauce, and as I get close to the end of the cooking cycle, I'm going to actually baste it. I'm going to use a little bit of cooking sherry. This is different than Marsala wine. Sherry is great in crab dishes. Now this is the key element here. This is just butter whipped with salt, pepper, a little bit of oregano, tarragon, and garlic. I'm going to use that across the top. Just get that liberally around the whole thing. Don't really miss any there. Now I'm going to put a little bit more of the tarragon. We'll stick to that butter. Just a pinch of oregano. All right, it's just ready. I've got a little extra salt and pepper on there. I've got all my stuff, my oil, my butter. I'm gonna put the final pieces together. I like a little rosemary. Put it right along the side. I rinsed this off. Happen to have a plant in my front yard there. I'm gonna put this right down here. This is gonna be very aromatic in as it cooks. The aroma is actually gonna infuse a little bit into the beef itself. So aside from making the beef taste great, your house is going to smell wonderful too with that aroma of cooked rosemary. So I rinsed it off. I like to get a little damp rosemary before I put it in. That way it doesn't dry out so quickly. So here we go. And we'll set our oven about 20, 30 minutes. All right, our timer went off, said that the tenderloin is done. I think it has a minute or 2 left in it. But I'm going to do something for a final step on this. And I'm going to do another baste. And I'm going to use a little broiler action on the top of that. And I've got the oven on a broil real quick. I'll put this right underneath the flame. I'll line it up right with the flame too, right down the center of the oven. Okay, let's kind of recap a little bit. We took our tenderloin off, patted it down, seasoned it, put everything nice on it, and put it in the oven. It's been about 40-something minutes total. We're going to turn it off right now, take it out right now. Got lots of smoke going on. And there we go. Before we serve that, we're going to let it rest probably 5 minutes. Nice and hot. I'm going to take these juices and do a final basting. We're going to cut into it. And again, some of these pieces will be more rare than others, which is how I want it. And then everybody gets the kind they like. With 4 pounds of meat, everyone gets a ½ pound steak for 8 people, if it's a little over that. So you're serving generous portions of steak. I'm purposely going to kind of mess around with this dark stuff that's in the pan. As this cools off, I'm going to add a little cooking sherry to it and create a mild sherry-based au jus. All right, we've let this rest for a while. The first thing I'm going to do is take these little strings that I had off, remove them. Let's bring this over to the plate. That's about medium rare right, isn't it? Medium rare. Getting a little more rare in the middle. Right there. You can see how nice this is. Everybody's going to get nice, big pieces of juicy steak. All right, I took this out of the oven, removed my ties, and did some slicing with my 1960s electric slicer, and I presented it on the plate. I happen to have some Brussels sprouts from a prior episode, so since I'm showing you the whole meal together, here it is. Roasted tenderloin, cooked medium rare, accompanied with some balsamic glazed Brussels sprouts. I'm telling you, this is a meal deal right here. It's a pleasure to do this for everyone in my family. It's a pleasure to do it for you. Thanks for watching Cooking with Matt, and happy holidays.